Hey everyone, I'm going to be teaching a third grade lesson today on vocabulary, and my objective is to determine or clarify the meaning of unknown and multiple meaning word and phrases based on grade 3 reading and content, choosing flexibly from a range of strategies. So our strategy we're going to talk about today is using context clues in these sentences to maybe figure out what words might mean. So for my review, I'm going to have two sentences written on the board. I know it's backwards, I'm sorry. But the first sentence says, it was very rare for Sarah not to show up to the movies on time. I was getting worried. It was very rare of Sarah not to show up to the movies on time. I was getting worried. What does rare mean, class? Does anyone have any idea by raising your hand what rare might mean? It was very rare. Not likely, maybe? So after they go ahead and guess and tell me their thoughts of what rare might mean, I will put it on the board and write the synonyms from the dictionary that I looked up. The second sentence says, Princess Tobia's dress was very elegant for the wedding. It was very elegant for the wedding. Does anyone know what elegant might mean? Pretty, long, gorgeous, sophisticated. So I will write elegant on the board after they guess. And this is how we figure out with context clues. For a wedding, what might you wear for a wedding? Will it be pretty? Or it was very elegant for the wedding. So that would be my review, having those on the board and letting them try to read the sentence and guess what those words that they don't know might mean. The purpose of this lesson to become familiar with unknown words, and it will increase their vocabulary and become aware throughout real life experiences and learning. Last week we learned how to not skip over unsure words, because sometimes when you read and you don't know a word, you're just like, oh well, I'll just read and figure it out. No, I would like my students to read and stop on unsure words and figure out what they might mean by using context clues. So that's what we're going to learn today. In the future, we will make educated guesses on unsure words, which is kind of what we're doing today, but in the future, we're going to look up those unsure words in dictionaries and actually see if their guesses were right. For my motivation, I will be reading to you and my future classroom 3 nasty gnarlies. Does anyone know what a gnarly is? Anybody can guess from looking at this title page what a gnarly is? Sorry, the glare. Maybe bugs, maybe trash worms, I don't know. So let's figure out. And so in the motivation, you'll see as I'm reading, I'm going to stop on vocabulary words that they're not going to be sure about. They're going to guess what they are, and we're going to do word walls on them. So I'll explain that afterwards. So, 3, I'm going to read like this, and then I'll show you the pictures. 3 nasty gnarlies perched atop a clump, practicing a gnarly tune heard throughout the dump. Grumpy Gurgles sang soprano, Stanky Stew sang bass, Ooga Mooga stomped her feet and yodeled just in case. And then I have a little sticky note under yodeled. Class, what do you think yodeled means? Yodel. When I yodel, let me read the sentence again. Ooga Mooga stomped her feet and yodeled just in case. So, I'm not going to explain to them what yodel means yet. I'm going to write it on the board. Just the word, yodel. Oh, we are nasty gnarlies. We like to make a mess, getting stuck in yucky muck. It's what we like the best. We're fabulously smelly, like pungent potpourri. What could be more beautiful than nasty, gnarly we? And then I have another sticky note that says pungent. What does pungent mean, class? And I'll listen to their answers. Like, they can shout them out. They can get involved with the book. Pungent potpourri. And I'll explain what potpourri is because some might not know it, but it's a little smelly. They usually put them in the bathroom. So I'll write that one on the board underneath yodel. So we have yodel and pungent. But Snooty Duty Butterfly heard their happy song. Did someone mention beauty? She sniffed. You've got it wrong. You gnarlies are not beautiful. You exclude a rank bouquet. You're untidy and your style is oh so trespassé. I like the illustrations in this book. It's really cute. You mean I'm stinky? Stanky gasped. I've never would have guessed. I'm not gorgeous, Grubby cried. I'm a lumpy, frumpy mess. Oogie Boogie, Ooga Mooga, drooled and sobbed and chewed her favorite shoe. The nasty gnarlies begged for help. Whatever can we do? Oh, pooh, I've hurt your feelings, but things are not so bleak. You simply need to spiffy up. I'll show you my technique. And I have another sticky note right there that says technique. Class, does anyone know what technique means? I'll show you my technique. Plan, maybe? I'll show you my ways. So I'll write technique underneath the other words. Though I am not exquisite, perfect, I confess, once I was a muddy worm, a peasant bug no less. So once she was a worm, an ugly worm. How did you change? Was it face cream? Did you get a perm? Did you use some special grease to wash all of the germs? So they're trying to figure out what she did. This could also go into a reading lesson instead of vocabulary too, as well as vocabulary too, because it does have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's more than one character. So it could go into a reading lesson as well. No, it was quite easy. I wrapped myself in silk. When springtime came, I flew away. My body was rebuilt. So Snooty Duty said goodbye, the grateful grungy three. So she was a worm, she wrapped herself in silk, and look at her now, beautiful. Then each one said, it worked for her, but will it work for me? They wrapped themselves in bits of junk and dangled from the trees. They slept and dreamt of butterflies floating in the breeze. So they wrapped themselves in what they call silk, and they're hoping to turn into beautiful butterflies. Then one day in early May, Gurgle wiggled free. Next came Stu, then Ooga Mooga fell out of the tree. Oh, look at us! We're butterflies, so dainty and petite. They flapped their arms and tried to fly, then plopped down in a heap. And there's another one. Class, does anyone know what dainty means? Dainty and petite. Dainty. So I'll write the last word the fourth word underneath the other words on the board so they can see as we're going along which words we don't know. Something's wrong, said Stanky Stu, with sorrow in his eyes. The beauty treatment failed to make us metamorphosized. We don't look like Judy, the grimy trio shrieked. That's the last word, shriek. The grimy trio shrieked. So, what does shriek mean? Maybe they'll guess a few words and they can shout out and get involved. There's no beauty in our bodies, no suave on our physiques. They're ugly still, they're not pretty. The wrapping did not help. Then Ooga Mooga had a thought. Could Duty have it wrong? Our beauty is our gnarliness. We're pretty all along. So Duty might have it wrong. I like that thought, said Grubby. Our funk is quite divine. I don't want to be a butterfly. I'd rather bathe in slime. I gotta be me, sang Stanky. My gnarly fumes are strong. We're nastier than ever now. Let's sing our favorite song. This book is so cute. Oh, we're nasty gnarlies. We're dirty and we reek. We gloopy gloppy glamorous. We're positively chic. Grubby, Stanky, Ooga Moogie, rolling in Stromboli. Rocka rumba, floby flow, knocka waka moly. And though the nasty gnarlies are nasty gnarly still, they see themselves as beautiful as summer daffodils. So even though they stink and they're ugly to us, they found beauty in themselves. So the end. So those are the words. We found yodel, pungent, technique, dainty, and shriek. So I will have those written on the board. And the motivation was me reading that book. And the procedure is going to follow the motivation because we are going to, I'm going to each pass out 5 of these to each of the students. And they're going to have 5 of these. And I'm going to help them. 1 second, sorry. So, the first word was yodel. So I will show them on the smartboard. We're going to do 3 together. Sorry, we're going to do the first 3 together, and then they're going to do the last 2 on themselves. And I'm gonna observe them. So define it in your own words. I want them to define the yodel in their own words, but I'm gonna do the first 3 with them. So yodel might mean sing or dance. You never know. Synonyms. Let's see. Happy. Use it in a meaningful sentence, and that is where I will tell the students that I will go back to the first word, and I'm going to put Ooga Mooga stomped her feet and yodeled just in case. So that is where they can use it in a meaningful sentence, and that is where they'll write on the word wall, and then draw a picture of it. So I might draw like some music notes. A girl singing, So I will have this all filled out, all 3 of them, and I'm not going to do all 5 because I'm already at 11 minutes, but you get the point. That is going to be my first procedure. My second procedure, I just made a worksheet, and it's called What Goes Where, and I did write on the back of it, so it went through, I'm sorry, but What Goes Where has 5 sentences. And then there's words to use. There's a word bank. Well, for this is going to be the second procedure. So they will get into groups, and they're going to work on this together. And after they fill in the sentences with the words on the right-hand side, I'm going to have these on the back. These are the words in the word bank. And they're going to define them in their own words. And then we're going to use this for future references because maybe next week or tomorrow or the next day, we're going to actually look up those words in a dictionary. So, what goes where? The first one is, the Colosseum in Rome, Italy was very worn down and dusty. I could tell it was very blank. I could tell it was very globe. I could tell it was very nursery. I could tell it was very delicate. Could tell it was very examine. I could tell it was very ancient. So, hopefully they would choose ancient. And there are 4 more sentences that use the words. So that's my second procedure. They can get into groups. It's optional. So then they define the words on the back. Closure is going to become familiar with the dictionary. This is kind of a fun activity. Nobody can be wrong. But I want to give each student, or they can sit in groups or whatever, pairs. They'll each get a student dictionary, and they're just going to find one word, doesn't matter what word, because it's a student dictionary, so hopefully it's appropriate. They have to find one single word, write it down, and define it, and draw a picture of it, and then they're going to share it with the class. Each person or each group can go to the class and share their word that they found that they didn't know beforehand and share it with class. That's going to be the closure, and that's just getting them familiar with the dictionary and seeing that it is in order, and that it does list the definition and synonyms and antonyms, and you can draw a picture of it to remind you what that word might mean. For the homework, there will be no homework for this section just because it's an introduction to vocabulary. The early finishers can read a book from the classroom library and write down words they are unsure of, and the teacher will help them as they read. Special needs with a reading disability can listen to the story with the class, the Gnarly story, and with a paraprofessional in another area will discuss the word wall and worksheet together as a group or pair. Yeah, so that is my lesson plan. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully in my future classroom I can use this book for vocabulary lesson and a reading exercise. Hope everyone has a good day. Bye!